Hey guys, it Doesn't Matter,
I'm the dream.
and this is episode 26 of our podcast, Confessions of a Stan Mixer Edition. Today we are going to be giving our Confetti Tour set list wish list. It's not quite a wish list because we did it based on like what we realistically thought, but we did also rig it a bit and only include songs we like for the most part.
Yeah.
So that part makes it a wish list, but we did really like do this in mind, like realistically. Whereas, when we did the last set list, the Dream Tour set list, we did not consider that at all.
hmm
Okay, so we did two different versions. I don't really remember why, but we did. And
Yeah, I don't
uh,
know.
the first one was with Jesse and without Jesse. Well, that's technically the first and the second. I think we kind of did it that way because, obviously Confetti came out before she left. And so when we initially listened to the Confetti album, you start to kind of think about what those will sound like on tour and which ones you want to be performed on tour. Um, and then obviously, at least for us, I think that kind of changed a little bit once she left.
Yeah.
And so we just thought that we would kind of give both perspectives, and just kind of show how for us personally it differed a little bit.
I definitely was struggling, so I was like, they'll figure it out. And for
Yeah.
some songs, it got really hard.
Yeah, it was hard to juggle like what we personally would like with or without her and then like what realistically is going to happen.
hmm
Um, but that they'll just figure it out, they don't have another choice.
Yeah.
um, so which one do you want to start with Jesse or without?
Let's do with Jesse. That's what I have first.
Okay. So we are not quite as in sync as we were with the Dream Tour set list in the sense that we don't have the same amount of like sections in the tour.
hmm
But we're still gonna just fly through.
Yeah.
So for the opening of the tour, I have gloves up because Jade told us that that's what they imagined.
Yeah, same. I have gloves up because that's what she said, and that's also what I think I had in my dream tour. I'm pretty sure. So I just kind of left it.
Mhm. All right. Next up, I have Power.
I have Sweet Melody.
I have A Woman Like Me.
I have If You Want My Love.
And then I have Salute.
That was the end of my section.
So letting them open up on their most kind of hardcore dancey high energy songs. It's pretty similar to what they usually do on tour. Yeah, so that's just kind of the reasoning behind that.
Mine are I kind of thought of like songs that are really loud and like in your face, and those were the three that kind of work together, I think. So I'm not sure how much choreography If You Want My Love will have compared to the other two, but I feel like sonically it's similar. So that's kind of
Mm.
why I grouped those together.
All right, next section, I have Rendezvous.
I have No More Sad Songs.
I have Confetti.
I have Move.
I have Sweet Melody.
I have Shout It to My Ex.
And then I have No More Sad Songs without the feature and the original bridge.
And I have Woman Like Me.
I'm going to forever be bitter. Or Jesse could cover No More Sad Songs.
Yeah.
um, okay, that's my dream world. We're living in a semi-realistic thing if we discount the fact that Jesse left the band. So I feel like Rendezvous, Confetti, and Sweet Melody just all kind of have a similar, darker, sexier vibe to them.
Mhm.
And so I felt like they were just a good fit for this section of the tour. And then No More Sad Songs, I feel like it doesn't have the darker sound that the others have, but I feel like it has like a similar sexy vibe to it, and the choreography could kind of match up.
Yeah, I did No More Sad Songs, Move, Shout Out to My Ex, and Woman Like Me because, well, one, I kind of grouped them together because those were like not from Confetti. And that's how my brain works. So those like instantly kind of group together, but they all kind of the last three have more of a heavier choreography style, but No More Sad Songs doesn't have as much of that. So I figured they could open with it and kind of like warm up almost
Mm.
and like kind of have a breather in between the two. So that was like kind of my thinking behind it. Um, but yeah, those were just the songs that I were thinking that weren't from Confetti. So yeah, even though I have a few like random ones here and there, but those were like the main ones.
Um, okay, for my next section, I have Touch,
I have My Love Won't Let You Down,
Holiday,
Secret Love Song Part 2.
Breakup Song,
I'm done. I only had
uh,
two.
and If You Want My Love. The reasoning behind those is I feel like they have a similar vibe to them. I think that they would have a similar level of choreography. Um, and yeah, that's kind of the reasoning behind that.
My two ones are it's kind of like the ballad section. There's only one ballad on Confetti, so I had to go with that one. And then Secret Love Song Part 2, they sing it like everywhere. So I was like, okay, let's just default to there. And I like hearing that one live. So I did those two together. And yeah, it's like their little break section until it gets back into like heavy choreo, kind of.
All right, next section I have Wasabi,
I have a mess.
not a pop song,
Breakup song.
Happiness,
Not a pop song.
Wings.
And power.
Shout out to my ex. Okay, so I kind of paired them up because I feel like it's a good kind of like transition from dark to not dark, like between like Wasabi, not a pop song, Happiness, Wings, Shout out to my ex. I feel like it's a gradual shift out of like a darker sound and into their more poppy sound. Um, and obviously, if Jesse was going to be there, Wasabi would be a good choice. And I also think that it's a realistic choice because I think, at least before she left, the girls were intending to treat it as a single based on the fact that they performed it in Brazil. But they took out all the other LM5 songs that weren't singles. Um, so from that perspective, I think that the intention previously was to make it an unofficial single. I don't know whether that's still something they'd be doing, you know, now, but I think that if Jesse was on this tour, it would be included. Um, and yeah, I think that I know that I've like included like every single from Glory Days, but I mean, just like realistically, it's some of their most popular songs, some of their most well known songs, and like they're always just going to perform all of them probably. And then of
Hmm.
course they're always going to perform Wings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so mine are kind of grouped together in I don't want to say they're not like heavy choreo because they're really not except for like power maybe. Um, but it's kind of like the building back up to more dancing and I guess just like where it would be more back to back hardcore dance breaks. Um, and so this is like they had their little like rest for the ballads, and it kind of slowly builds up, but it's not like anything heavy except for power. Because the other three, like a mess breakup song, not a pop song, are probably a little bit more on the downside. Like there's still some, but it's not a ton. So yeah, I was kind of grouping them based on that thought process.
My next and last section is kind of a weird choice, but also like I got forced into it. Um, it is literally just Secret Love Song. And I say I got forced into it because there are no other like slow ballad songs outside of like My Love Won't Let You Down. And I really don't like that song, so I don't want to include it. And it didn't fit anywhere else because it's a ballad. So and it's Secret Love Song Part 2, obviously. Um, and so I just got stuck putting it as the final song.
Okay, so I have two sections left. I have Rendezvous, Think About Us and Happiness. Um, those I'm just kind of thinking those are gonna be like the more vibey songs. I don't know, like they feel like you can't go full on hard choreo, but you can't like just not do anything. Um, so it's similar to what the last section was, but maybe like one level up. Those were also just like the random songs I wanted to include but couldn't find a place for. So they defaulted there. And then my last two, like I guess encore songs would be Wings and then Confetti, because Wings is like, you know, the first song everybody's gonna be like jamming to that. And then Confetti, I figured just Confetti to close off the Confetti tour.
So that is kind of the reasoning behind those. Moving on to Without Jesse. My first section of the tour is the same as with Jesse. It still gloves up, power woman like me salute.
Yeah, mine's still the same. Gloves up, sweet melody, if you want my love.
I think that, like, just realistically speaking, like trying to balance realistic with with like the heartbreak of like Jessie not being able to sing her iconic parts. Um, Trying to balance those things. I just think those like Power Woman like me and Salute, like they're just not going to be songs that they can't perform. Um, like Power and Salute are like some of their like hype songs. So they really have to kind of have them. And it's also like Power is one of their most successful. And then like Woman Like Me is from LM5, and there's only two singles from LM5. And I didn't include Think About Us because I don't like it. Um, so I just feel like, even though I probably would have been really tempted to leave Power off, it's just not. It's not realistic.
Gloves up and sweet melody. I figured we could keep a backtrack. Don't know how it would actually work, but in my mind, in my dream confetti tour without Jesse, that's how it would work. um, and then I left If You Want My Love because I figured like I'm pretty sure I didn't hear the entire song when I made this. I just listened to her verse and I figured somebody could probably cover that. I'm not like super attached to that one verse, so I'd I'd be okay with letting it go.
um, I didn't put it on here because of her chorus. Um,
Oh yeah.
Although I mean, I guess I could have put it on here and just put the disclaimer that I want them to keep her backtrack in the chorus because it's not like they sing it anyway.
Yeah.
Um, but okay, my next section is there's a little bit of a change. So instead of Rendezvous, Confetti, Sweet Melody, No More Sad Songs, I have Rendezvous, Sweet Melody, DNA.
Yeah, I have a small change. Instead of No More Sad Songs, I have Touch, and then I still have Move, Shout Out to My Ex, and Woman Like Me.
Okay, so the reason why I got rid of Confetti and I didn't get rid of No More Sad Song, but I did move it because I felt like the vibe of the section had changed. Um, so I feel like Rendezvous, even though her verse is my favorite part of the song, I feel like it's not like, I feel like it could be covered by someone else. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Um, so I feel like it's like fine to do it that way. Sweet Melody, like you said, I think I imagine it being performed the same way they've been doing it, which is keeping her in the backtrack and just taking her solo. Um, and then DNA, I feel like, I mean, I love her part in DNA, but I do feel like, it's pretty small. It's not, like she's super prevalent in the chorus. She doesn't really have any ad libs. So I just felt like it would be an easy thing to have like someone cover for her. Um, and then I think that um, that kind of keeps the darker, more dancier vibe to that section.
So I switched No More Sad Songs with Touch. Probably wasn't a better option, but I just like her on No More Sad Songs too much, so I had to give it up. Um, and Touch was just kind of like a default. Like my reasoning behind that one was because they will have to perform that at some point, and so I know that they'll figure out a way to do it. And so I was like, okay, I'll leave it. Not sure what they'll do, but it's gonna be one of the songs that they're gonna have to figure out. So that was kind of my reasoning with keeping or with putting that one there. And then the other three, move that one's kind of hard, but I left it. One, they don't really perform it anymore, so it's not really going to affect too much, I don't think, unless they decide to perform it, like start performing it again. And the other two again are like touch. They're going to be performed, so they're going to have to figure out a solution, and I don't know what that is, but they probably will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like with Move, it's kind of like it'll just be awkward because like she leads the chorus.
Mhm. Yeah, that's why I
Um
was like, well, backtrack.
yeah.
Cuz they overlay it in like a few like lines later on, so it could work, but I don't know. I didn't think it was like worth it to move it just because they don't really perform it anymore.
Yeah, it's a bit of an awkward one, kind of like How You Doing, like she leads that and stuff. So
Yeah.
like it's just like the thing is she leads, you're just kind of like yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
You're like maybe not. All right, my next section is Touch, Holiday, A Mess, Breakup Song, Black Magic. Oh, sorry, we were splitting off. Whatever.
Mine's My Love Won't Let You Down and Secret Love Song Part 2.
So Touch is, I mean, they're just gonna have to figure it out. Like,
Yeah.
there's no way they're not performing it. Um, Same with Holiday. Like, she sings quite a bit on Holiday, so I feel like that'll be a little rough. But like, it's one of the singles off Confetti. They're just gonna have to figure it out. Um, I switched in A Mess instead of If You Want My Love because I think that that's an easier one to take her out of. You can easily leave her bridge in the core. You can usually leave her bridge in the backtrack and just have a dance to it as if like it was a remix, or you could take it out and actually remix it for a dance break. So I feel like that one's pretty easy to adjust. And so I put it in breakup song. Of course, it's a single, and she doesn't really sing much in it anyway, so it's not really like a big deal. Black Magic. I hate Black Magic, but I thought it was appropriate. Because I mean, realistically, they're going to perform Black Magic in some way or another. Um, like it's too popular of a song, the same way that they're always going to do like Wings and Shout to My Ex. Um, so I left it off of the one with Jessie just because I hate it and she doesn't like it. But I mean, if we're going for realism, like it should be on the one without her. Like it's just gonna get performed. Um, and honestly, that's not like a huge loss. She barely sings in it and she hates it. So
So neither of mine changed. I figured My Love Won't Let You Down, each of their like parts aren't very long. It's just a few lines, then it switches. So I feel like that one isn't too big of a deal. I figured they could just figure out something. And then See Your Love Song Part 2, they did it on the search, so we know that they have a solution already.
I wonder if they're gonna stick to that arrangement though.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I never really thought about it.
Yeah, I wonder if like I am just curious.
Yeah.
All right. My next section is not a pop song, Happiness Swing, Shout to My Ex, No More Sad Songs. I know that I completely changed the way we were organizing this, guys. Sorry.
Mine is a mess into a mashup of that and Nothing But My Feelings, and then Breakup Song, Not a Pop Song, and Reggaeton Lento.
Okay, so I took out Wasabi obviously because I'm not really clear whether or not they're still going to be giving it the single treatment the way they had indicated they were going to before. Also, she sings a shit ton on it. Um, so I just think it they might decide to scrap it without her. Um, I kept Not a Pop Song. I kept Happiness, although it kind of killed me too because my favorite part of the song like is kind of like her little like ad lib on the me in the chorus. Um, but honestly, I feel like they could just like I feel like she's not that hard to replace on the song. It just hurts me because I like that part of it a lot. Um, and then obviously, like they're just gonna have to figure out Wings. I mean, it's not really gonna be that hard to replace her in Wings. But um, like they're just gonna have to do it. Same with Shout Out to My Ex and No More Sad Songs. I just want them to remix her out. If they can remix out the bridge and his feature, they can remix out the second verse. I believe in them. So, like, you could just put the feature back in, eliminate a chorus in the second verse, and then, like, add a dance break, and it's fine. So, that's kind of my workaround for that. And that's the only thing. Yeah, I swapped out Wasabi for No More Sad Songs, is what happened.
So instead of just a mess, I have a mess going into like a remix of Nothing But My Feelings. And so like my kind of thought process was like, so before the bridge, it'll be fine and normal. And then slowly just kind of I listened to it and it made sense. It might not make sense to other people, but it can like kind of fade into the beginning of Nothing But My Feelings, but instead of it starting right away, it just kind of goes into like the instrumental. Um and they start singing a little bit later. I don't know. It worked in my head, and so that's kind of the remix I came up with to fix that. And then breakup song was the same. Not a pop song is the same. And then I took out power and put in Regento Lento because it's power and I like
It
her
hurt.
parts in it. Yeah, and I don't really know how they're gonna fix that one, so I took that one out. And so I put in Regento Lento because I figured it should be another Glory Days one if I'm replacing a Glory Days song. And one, that was kind of a default, and two, her verse is in the middle of Ciencio's part, so none of the other girls are singing before or after her, so I figured it might be a little bit easier to like change.
Hmm.
And yeah.
My last one again is Secret Love Song, because there's nowhere else to put the fucking ballad. Um, and I kind of feel like, Secret Love Song is kind of one that hurts a bit, but they're just gonna have to do it. There's no workaround for that. So
So my next section is Rendezvous, Think About Us, and Happiness, and none of those changed. I kind of figured they could just kind of figure it out. I don't know. I didn't really have any other songs to replace them with, so I was like, they'll figure it out. Not sure how, but they'll figure it out. And then my last section also didn't change. I left Wings and Confetti because Wings, even though it'll be weird with her not being in it, um, they have small verses, so it's not hard to cover those. And then Confetti, I figured they could just like open with like dancing and leave her part playing, or even have like the dancers do something. And yeah,
yeah, I feel like for like Wings, they'll probably just like hold the mic out to the audience. You know what I mean?
yeah, or do something like that. Yeah,
Yeah, I feel like for Wings, maybe even like a little like Shout Out to My Ex, and
power.
Touch, probably Power. I feel like there'll be a lot of like holding it out to the crowd.
Yeah,
So I feel like maybe even like in Black Magic, I just feel like those are really easy parts to just be like, you sing it. Like,
yeah, exactly.
um, but yeah, so that is kind of our two different versions. And the Without Jesse one is just us trying to balance like what we're like about. Um, and I think honestly, like her vocals are going to be on the Confetti tour. I think they're
Yeah,
going to leave her in the backtrack. For I mean, we already got told that they're not re-recording the Confetti album, so I think it would be a bit strange if they're not doing that, but then they're going to re-record all of the Confetti songs and some of the other singles in order to remove her from the backtrack.
yeah,
I just think that's not realistic. So I think like we'll still be able to hear her on choruses um, and I mean maybe even some ad libs. Um, I think that'll just be what happens, which is why I kind of avoided any of the choruses she leads. Like If You Want My Love, Move, How You Doing, that type of stuff. Um, yeah, Love Me Like You, or not Love Me Like, yeah, Love Me Like You. Just kind of avoid those ones.
yeah.
um, and that's that. Let us know down in the comments, anything you agree with, disagree with, any of that stuff. Again, this is just personal preference for us. again, please be respectful of us. Please be respectful of the other people in the comment section. We just thought this one would be a little bit interesting to do. And, we're just having some speculation. Obviously, tour is pretty far off, but it is indeed coming. So we just wanted to take a look at it.
Yeah.
All right. So that is going to be it for this episode. And we will see you guys next week.